Welcome to another episode of the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of nothing. My name is Oscar Puente, also known as Footy from Afar, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts Chuck Bailey and Ian Stimson. How do, lads?
How do?
How do?
Everybody get their computers sorted and ready to go, or...?
We've had some minor technicals, haven't we?
Some production issues.
All right, putting it firmly on my doorstep.
By which you mean neither of the two of you knows how to use a computer correctly, or...?
No. And I say production issues. That doesn't mean that, like, production is solely down to you, Ian. It's just my inability to produce my own laptop is a bit...
And I couldn't log on to Google Hangouts and needed Google Hangouts explaining to me.
One of you doesn't know how to use Google, the other doesn't know how to use Skype. I'm sitting here trying to put my Chromebook to my laptop so that you can talk to each other.
Yeah.
Via me in the middle.
For this week, you get to listen to us whilst we use Google Hangouts as opposed to Skype. It'll make zero difference to you guys, but it's a big change for us. So
Yeah, maybe down the line, if people get to the stocks level of Patreon, we can live feed.
Yeah, because what they need to see is the last half hour of you trying to coach me through this. That's good value for money.
I don't know. When Chuck said my Skype isn't working, I was like, oh, he just doesn't want to come on the pod this week. You know, I come on, I take my abuse for weeks at a time, but,
yeah,
you know.
True.
Palace, well, we'll get to all that, I guess. If you are joining us... Yeah,
I'm mostly just here for the non-football chat this week, lads. Yeah. So the sooner we can get to the food questions, the better, please.
Yeah, you and the listeners. No one's here for the football chat except us.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. We're happy to have you. We have had a decent-sized spike in new listeners this week, so we wanted to say thank you. We're happy to have you aboard. The way this goes is we do some news stories. We do a deeper dive on the most interesting stuff kind of going on in the Prem this week. Take a quick break, come back, do some listener questions and some games that we play, predictor-type games, and call it a week. So, without any further ado, let's get into it with our rapid fire news. Our top story this evening, Diego Maradona accepts paternity of 3 children in Cuba.
Top story. Fuck me, this is getting better and better each week. Yeah. You won't see this on Sky Sports News, kids.
Yeah. Oh man, so good. The children, reportedly from 2 mothers, will be able to take his name. The 58-year-old World Cup winner, who once denied any children other than his former wife, is now the official father of 8 additional children.
8 additional?
This is from the BBC, 3 of whom apparently live in Cuba. So,
how old are these children? Like, how long has it been?
Let's see.
Yeah, I love the idea you've got an accountant in Cuba who's now going to change his last name to Maradona.
Whoa, okay, here's a quote from this article, from the BBC. He befriended then-President Fidel Castro during his stint in the country and got a tattoo of the leader's face on his leg. So Maradona has a Castro tattoo on his leg.
Naturally.
And he has since recognized Diego Jr., bit of a giveaway there.
Naturally.
32, and Jana, 22.
32 and 22.
32, 22, and 6-year-old Diego Fernando.
6?
Okay.
Wow. The 6-year-old's the most impressive because the fact that he could maintain an erection for long enough is just...
He's amazing.
That's impressive.
Well, it's all the cocaine, right? Probably. Allegedly.
You don't need to say allegedly. We've told you this, Oscar is fine.
Well, you know, the legal system in America, I don't want to overextend.
Yeah. Wow. So he has a lovely old time when he goes to Cuba then, doesn't he?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. It's the communist approach. He'll just impregnate anyone.
He's an equal opportunities impregnator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 32, yeah. Ian, that's almost old enough to be your dad.
Holy shit. Are you Maradona's child?
I didn't want to say anything, but, you know.
What's your middle name? Is your middle name Diego? It's apparently all of his kids are named Diego.
Yeah, like George Foreman's
kids.
Yeah,
I was going to say, is he like George Foreman?
There's Diego Jr., Diego Fernando.
Yeah. No, I mean, what I'm known for is South American flair. You're right.
That's true.
Yeah, and cocaine.
Oh, man. All right, well, let's get on with the news to the next story. How about this one? Zinedine Zidane going back to Real Madrid. He has been appointed officially to replace Santiago Solari as the manager, just 10 months after leaving the Spanish Giants.
I like that we moved from one form of relapse onto another. That's quite a seamless link there for you, Oscar.
Good move or bad move for Zidane?
I mean, Zidane probably doesn't give a shit because he can do no wrong and will get paid a ton of money because he won 3 Champions Leagues in 4 years. But I just don't understand why would Real, although they haven't had a great time and they get knocked out after getting thumped by Ajax, which I'm pretty sure 98.7% of the global footballing watching population enjoyed that.
Yep.
And so just to get Zidane in now, it's like, what are you trying to say? It's almost as it's the Spanish equivalent of West Brom sacking Darren Moore. That's what it is.
Oh, you jumped ahead. That's the next story. We'll get to that.
Yeah, that's it. I'm cutting in. Like, West Brom sack Darren Moore is just as confusing as reappointing Zinedine Zidane right now.
I think from a Real Madrid perspective, it is really weird. They're dumb. They're just dumb and poorly run. But from a Zidane perspective, it's a brilliant move, I think. I don't know, Ian, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously got something that he wanted off the board or whatever that he didn't have before. I mean, it's because he's gone back, so it seems a bizarre thing to do. The amount of time that is now in between, like, managers getting sacked and reappointed, I mean, Man United could have Mourinho back before you know it. I mean, it just seems insane now. 10 months? It's mental.
Chuck has his fingers crossed for the listeners.
Please let it happen. Just bring him back. I don't know. I'm so conflicted right now because I hate Mourinho and I don't want him back, but I also don't want United to be good. But then they lost to Arsenal, so it's just...
Oh, I need United to not be good again.
It's so conflicted.
I think it's wicked smart, though. Like...
You think it's wicked smart?
Yeah, that's right. Wicked smart. He left the GOAT, treble, Champions League, back-to-back-to-back. But he knew he could read the tea leaves just as much as anyone else that it was going to be a train wreck this season there. With Ronaldo leaving and an aging squad and, them downgrading their keeper really significantly to a sack of shit Belgian traitorous scumbag. Who he didn't, for the record, he didn't want him, and a lot of talk now that he's going to be frozen out by Zidane coming back in.
Oh, you would love that,
which
wouldn't
is
you?
delightful.
You would love that.
I would love that. But now he gets to come back. This rough patch that they were going to have, whether he was manager or someone else, they got it out of the way. He gets to come back, zero pressure, because they're fucking broken.
Is it out of the way, though? Are they going to give him money? Is he going to have a chance to...
I have to. It's Real Madrid. They're not going to take another season of them sucking. They have infinite money.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
They're going to buy everybody this summer that Chelsea would have bought, because to take it to our next news story...
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Chelsea's transfer ban and the freeze that usually accompanies an appeal has been denied. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid get a 2-window transfer ban, put in an appeal. That ban gets pushed back by a window so they can kind of get their affairs in order before getting hit with the 2 windows, penalty. But not Chelsea, I guess, because everybody hates Chelsea because we're an oil money club and we're the evil that destroys the game, the modern game. And so we're going to be so fucked.
Put aside your personal feelings for 1 second.
Yeah.
And just think, if you can lodge some sort of appeal, which then can kind of make a mockery of the whole process, does it not undermine it a little bit?
I think mockery, and this actually came up on Twitter with one of our listeners, I think, or someone who interacts with us pretty regularly on Twitter. I won't name names because I'm not trying to put anyone on blast, but they said mockery just like you, and I think that is an incredibly ridiculous word to use because you still are getting punished with a 2-window ban. Like, that's still a massive amount of time if someone gets injured or if someone is, leaves because they force a contract out like Tebow did last summer. Like, a 2-window ban is a long fucking time to not be allowed to make signings.
Well, I mean, Tottenham have basically done that this year. They're all right.
Self-imposed, yeah.
I think they call that the Daniel Levy now. No, so mockery is ridiculous because it's still a 2-window ban. That's still an incredibly, harsh penalty. Not harsh. They broke the rules egregiously. They fully deserve the punishment they're getting. But, I think it's reasonable when there's been not 1, not 2, but 3 fucking clubs who've been in this situation and were afforded a freeze during an appeal process to expect that.
Is weird.
And I think that as a Chelsea fan and as Chelsea the club, if this had been the case the first time, Or even the second time where they were like, you know what? We fucked up giving a freeze. We're going to do that better now. Like, you know, that club would feel hard done by. But 3 fucking clubs is a lot of precedent.
Yeah, but maybe they've had enough criticism levied at them through that they kind of gone, right, okay, at some point we have to end it, and it happens now. And with Man City now getting investigated for the same stuff, if that happens as well, then, you know, then it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fine. Chelsea will be fine.
It's a fucking disaster from
Chelsea
the Chelsea
will be
perspective.
Absolutely fine. They won't be fine.
No, it's so bad. It's so bad.
You will not be fine.
This squad is so fucked. Like, we're so old. We need so much work on this club, of this squad. And now,
are you even allowed to loan players or anything?
I don't know. I don't want to know any more than I know, because it's all bad.
Well, surely if they're bringing in that other rule where you're only allowed to loan out a certain number of players,
yeah, we have a massive
doesn't that
squad.
mean Chelsea are kind of double fucked and they've just got to sell all of those youth players?
Yeah, I mean, look, if I'm searching for a silver lining, which I kind of have to stay sane, hopefully with the aging of Pedro and Willian, and potentially Hazard leaving this summer, because there's a ton of talk of that, just like there always is, especially with Zidane coming back to Madrid. Him and Zidane are like obsessed with each other. Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi, right? They have to be looking at minutes.
Surely.
I don't know. I've thought that for a long time, and they haven't. So, but like a potential silver lining is, if there's no other choice because there's no other players that we can get, you have to give the youth a chance, or at least there's a higher likelihood of that happening. But Chuck, you did mention, and this is our next story, Manchester City are being investigated by both FIFA and the Premier League for their wild, egregious breaches of the financial fair play rules. Just like basically the big middle finger to everybody, and they're finally calling them on it. Not quite the same thing that Barcelona, Chelsea, Real Madrid, and Atletico were hit for, which is to do with the signing of underage players and like youth contracts and payments and stuff going where it wasn't supposed to go, but as opposed to just like completely lying and falsifying financial documents like Real Madrid have done, or not Real Madrid, although they probably have too, but
yeah,
Man City. They're all liars.
He's not so worried about libel now, is he?
Yeah.
No, that's
I said probably. Do we think they're actually going to get hit with any kind of penalty? Do we think that this is just a lot of smoke, but nothing there?
Probably. They probably are, but I don't really fear for them at all. Suffering with a 2-window transfer ban. Not the same way I do with like Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, they're another club with a very, very good youth system and academy and all that. Yeah, I mean, it does have to do with academy player recruitment and third-party ownership and FFP and all that, so it could be something that potentially would hit them.
Man City's investigation looks like it's encompassing quite a lot of stuff. I mean, there's been loads of stuff about dodgy sponsorship and, funneling money through that.
Well, apparently it's the FA, the Premier League, UEFA and FIFA all getting involved.
Yeah,
so,
they're all coming at them. So I feel like that's...
There's the Man City done the quadruple this season, guys. So that's it. It's over.
Is that the one they were after? Yeah.
That's what they were after, the quadruple.
To what extent do we think it's that they were so good last year that people want to find ways to come at them? Like, the haters will hate kind of situation.
I don't think the footballing authorities care about that. I mean, if Man City were to go and have another crazy season, and well, they are doing well obviously, but have another crazy season of goals and points, it's all just good, isn't it? I mean, they don't care. I mean, they've let it happen. It is strange that it's happening now, because... And
why go after Man City but not PSG? Like, PSG are even worse.
Because even if they fined PSG all this money, it wouldn't make a difference. They'd still win the bloody league every year. I think it's the status thing of the clubs. You look at the 3 clubs that have been hit before, it's the 3 biggest teams in Spain.
I think it's just the British club's turn.
They're just turning their attention either to England or just there's been loads of stuff that's come out recently, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it is weird that they would, like, obviously, again, they've been breaking the rules really, really obviously for years. No one thinks that they haven't been. But for them to, like, all of a sudden decide to go after it, like...
It's Brexit.
What's going on at FIFA? What's going on at Brexit? Yeah.
Brexit, yeah. It's not like FIFA's corrupt or anything, though, so...
Yeah, exactly.
There's a new investigation into Qatar going down, isn't there?
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I think there's a new ethics thing looking at Al Jazeera put I mean, they just stuck something like 100 million quid into FIFA's accounts.
No, apparently, once the World Cup pretty much starts in Qatar, so basically that it's guaranteed to happen, they will be paying FIFA 100 million quid, is what has been...
Right.
$100 million, I believe, is what has been on top of the 300 million or something they've already paid them or going to pay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Fine.
nothing wrong with that, innit? Just a bit of...
Nothing shady at all there.
Bit of cashish to grease the palms.
Well, to completely pivot away from something from that, and I have no transition at all, our next story, Tottenham, new stadium updates, gentlemen, our recurring segment.
Hit me.
Well, they're set to they're claiming that in less than a month, they'll be playing matches there. Have we heard that before? Maybe.
No reason to doubt them.
No, I think this is the first we've heard. I don't remember ever hearing that their stadium was going to open already.
Only place in London to watch the Champions League.
The latest setback, as reported by the very esteemed publication TalkSport.com. Club deny that there's an issue with their $1 billion or £1 billion arena, as despite the reported setback, as there is, quote, no space for corner kicks to be taken.
There's about a foot space between the line and where it just has a almost sheer drop down, like Man United's ground at Old Trafford. Like the pitch there where it's really raised up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's impossible to plan for these things. No way to know. No way to know.
And it's the thing, because they're such pioneers that no one's done this before, so they definitely couldn't learn from previous.
It is a beautiful stadium. I was looking at the pictures, and it is like really nice looking. Just like from an architectural standpoint.
Artist impressions or actual pictures?
I think actual pictures. Right? It's pretty much done. The stand looks like a wave kind of thing, and it's really cool looking, I think.
Cool.
As much as I hate to say anything nice about Spurs. But they'll probably just never play. It's just going to be a white elephant.
I'd love that.
I would love if every 3 weeks there's like, oh, we're going to start. No, you're not.
No. Can we have Wembley for a bit longer?
All right. Well, last story this week. Everybody's seen this, but we got to talk about it. Birmingham City fan jailed for a pitch attack on Jack Grealish. He has been jailed for 14 weeks for attacking Aston Villa captain Jack Grealish during the second City derby. Thoughts on this, gentlemen?
He scored a lovely goal afterwards. That's what really matters, isn't it? That's the real story here. Just the fact that, this guy comes in and, I say sucker punched him, but kind of just hits him with his forearm from behind.
Yeah, wasn't even a decent punch, was it? Come on, mate.
Can't even get a decent punch in. And then obviously gets tackled a bit later on by kind of an inept security guy who doesn't really care that much because they all hate Villa.
And all get paid fuck all, to be fair.
Yeah, because everyone deserves such well-paying jobs, for fuck's sake.
Okay, right, okay. Interesting angle.
You know what I mean? And then he gets kneed after he celebrates the winning goal, which was just delicious and great to see. He then gets kneed and attacked by a steward or something like that, and that's now being investigated by Birmingham as well.
Is it?
So,
I've not seen that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, God.
It's good times all around.
Honestly. I mean, at least they're doing their best to make an example of this guy. He's been...
14 weeks doesn't seem like enough.
No, but I was reading a thread on Twitter, and it was like, with no previous... there was no actual harm to Grealish. It was pretty much the most they could have done.
Okay.
Like, that's the... by them saying that the player was in a vulnerable position because he was doing his job and attacked from behind. So it's pretty much the maximum they could have done.
Okay.
And it got dealt with very quick. I mean, yeah, I know what you mean. It doesn't sound like a great deal, but it also he didn't hurt the guy, did he?
No, and this is the thing. Like, I don't want people to think that I'm downplaying it or anything.
No, definitely
and it
not.
is really bad, of course, but you see more damage done in the course of a normal football game.
Yeah.
I think it's just the principle of it they have to set.
I'm just framing it in the sentencing. It does sound like not a lot, but it's the maximum they could have done in the situation, and they've done it fucking quickly as well, which is
that's
good.
nice. Did he get a lifetime ban from the stadium too?
Lifetime ban from the stadium and 10 years ban from all football, I think, with other clubs as well. So, yeah, I mean, No, that's pretty much the max that can be done, I think. So, dickhead gets dickhead punishment.
Yeah, fully deserved. Bunch of pricks. Feels like all the pricks are coming out of the woodwork more this year than usual.
Yeah, because wasn't there an incident at the Arsenal game as well?
Yeah, someone ran on and, slightly bumped, was it Chris Smalling or something?
Yeah, it was Chris Smalling. He was trying to go celebrate with the Arsenal fans, and he just didn't quite know who was who, I think. It didn't seem malicious from the footage. You know, he seemed pretty sauced up.
Yeah.
Which you kind of have to be to run on the pitch.
Yeah, what are you thinking? Yeah.
Like, I don't understand the thinking there at all. Even drunk, like...
No, just be good-natured. Don't attack players. Just get bollock naked and run round the centre circle a couple of times.
What's happened to streakers?
What's happened to the good old days where, it was just some bloke who pasty as fuck.
Yeah.
And just waggling his tadger in the air as he not even running, just kind of skips joyfully through the pitch, and all the players just kind of laugh, and then we all laugh and we
While
carry on.
stewards who are unbelievably slower than him can't catch him, even though he's only skipping around. That's what you want.
Yeah. Bring that back.
Yeah.
All right, official stance of the Miles Offside podcast. Let's bring back naked guys running on the pitch, please.
Pasty man arrested at Peterborough.
Look forward to it. Well, that does it for news, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Chuck, Crystal Palace 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2.
Yep, that was a thing that happened, wasn't it?
Really? Right at the top?
Oh, we're getting into it. Settled in.
Yeah.
Hope you brought your popcorn, Ian. Extra butter.
I mean, you overestimate my emotional investment in this, because we've got some good mileage out of your downfall, because you, unlike me, have expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And have previous of supporting a successful football team. Whereas for me, it was kind of look at the result at the end, see Brighton 1-2-1, and just kind of go, yep, that happened.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not at all upset that they did the double over the Palace for the first time in, 30 years?
38, I don't know, 1980. I don't know, fucking before Ian was born. That's saying something.
Fucking hell.
Ian, don't let him pivot. Don't let him make this about how you're old.
Yeah, that's transference, isn't it?
Yeah, it is,
Really.
Absolutely. Speaking of old, obviously Glenn Murray is the one who gets the goal against us.
How fucking good is Glenn Murray? I mean, just still great.
Not as good as Anthony Knockaert, who had a great game. Really nice.
Yeah, he should have been sent off after 28 seconds. But, just the studs up diving off the ground challenge into Milivojevic's testicles. I don't know. I think it's, and I'm sure we'll come on to it with a few other decisions that have come up this weekend, but it does kind of highlight how awful just the standard of refereeing is, and how now, especially that we know it's coming in, how much VAR is being quoted as... Like if you watch Match of the Day, I'm pretty sure if you took a drink every time they said, well, next season with VAR that wouldn't stand,
God, yeah.
You'd get out of it about as battered as I was after England beat Colombia on penalties. So,
ooh, let's not say things we can't take back.
No, I'm pretty sure that is what would happen. You would be that drunk. And so it's just kind of bad things. But I mean, Brighton for the first goal was route one from the back. Tompkins goes to head.
Terrible defending.
Oh, it was awful. But Roy Hodgson in the post-match went down the Klopp route and blamed the wind. And you're like, mate, like, I know like centre backs aren't necessarily the fastest people in the world, but Glenn Murray is probably categorically the slowest person in the league. Like,
yeah.
He's had to adapt his game so much to be clever because of his age and years, and he's really made it work for him. And that's why it's hard, because obviously I absolutely hate Brighton, but Glenn Murray made Palace what it was. Where we are now, really. So it's a real shame that he left again. But I just mean recently Van Aanholt's been absolute dog shit.
Yeah, he really has.
Oh, like there's been so many. If you go back and watch through games, there's so many goals scored by the other team where Van Aanholt gets it in the corner, tries to make a clearance on the turn, and only kicks it probably about 20, 25 yards straight to an opposition player.
Yeah.
And they either come in and have a shot on target or a goal. But and then to play Knockaert onto his left side, if you have a left-footed player, it's very much basics, especially as he's a left-footed left-back, that he should play him out onto Van Aanholt's stronger side. But he just lets him kind of just wander, cross-goal. And
it was a real Arjen Robben situation where you're like, dude, he's gonna cut in. Like,
yeah, but the difference is Arjen Robben, it's like, I can do nothing about this because Arjen Robben's great. Anthony Knockaert is basically Darren Huckabee. Like, he's not good enough for the Premier League.
Lovely reference.
But he's too good for the Championship. Like, and he's been that for years, which is why he's just never done anything. And even Houghton, in his post-match interview, says, yeah, we need to see a lot more of that from him because he doesn't do it anywhere near often enough. It's like, when even your manager is giving you veiled digs for scoring the winning goal in a game against the rival, that's saying something.
Even as a Palace fan, you have to admit that shot was perfect.
The guy hit the ball perfectly well. Like, it's off the inside of the upright, right towards the crossbar. One of those shots that it doesn't have to be any much further left for it to be ricocheting out. Like, exactly like you said. I can't really knock that, and it's
you can't knock Garrett that.
Yeah, it knocked me out. Yeah, whatever joke you're gonna make, prick. Fuck's sake. Yeah, they're level with us on points now.
Yep.
We're ahead on goal difference though, so that's all right. And I'm sure, Oscar, you're going to bring up the XG for that game.
I was waiting.
Yeah.
Ian, do you happen to know it? What it was?
I don't know.
Oh, it's delightful. So Palace got one off of 1.44, which is pretty high for them. You guys don't generate 1.44 very often.
No, not really. I think even against Leicester, we didn't have like more than one, I don't think, when we won 4-1.
Yeah, you didn't. It was at 0.8 or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Blimey.
For some comparison, Spurs only generated 1.3 against Southampton. So 1.45 is pretty good.
Yeah, and they fucking lost as well, and they're meant to be good, all right?
Yeah, but Southampton generated 2, so they lost reasonably so. Ian, settle in for this one. Hope you're ready. Brighton scored 2 goals, right? We all saw that. We can agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
They generated 0.1.
Hey, Match of the Day had it as 0.16, all right? So don't you fucking go round into one decimal point.
No, that's better.
I got 0.13 on Understat. Let me see what Kaylee had.
I mean, it's 60% better. Thank you very much.
Good.
Oh,
Very
man.
good.
That is delightful.
It's diabolical. And the simple fact is that this season, Palace, if you rated by home form, and this is what winds me up so much and has done for about 3 seasons now, and I think supporters of other clubs have started to realise, is that for the first 2 seasons we were in the Premier League, we were really good at home, and it was really tough, and like the atmosphere generated was great and everything. But this year, if you took just home games, we'd be 19th.
Oh.
Like,
oh my God.
19th.
See also Peterborough, but yeah.
Yeah, see also Peterborough, yeah, I'm sure. But
Okay,
also, we've scored 11 goals at home off of an XG, Oscar, of 22.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and got 13 points out of an expected points of 24. Like, the only team below us is Huddersfield. What I would say is I really would not be surprised if Roy Hodgson moves on this summer, because especially home form and a lot of fans and the teams he's been playing and the way he's playing, and not really, like we've said quite a few times, and it's kind of run in parallel with the Sarri stuff at Chelsea. It's just that he's never really seemed to have a plan B, or he hasn't brought subs on at the right time for such a long point of the first half of the season. You know, we've still got Max Meyer, who isn't really starting games whatsoever, and he, for me and for a lot of fans, was the logical replacement, straight swap for Yohan Cabaye, because he wasn't necessarily the most skillful player. However, in terms of picking out a pass and being that person who gets played the ball straight off the defensive midfielder, so maybe sort of like Milivojevic wins the ball back or Kouyate wins the ball back to give straight to Meyer, who can then start firing out passes to the front 3, be that with Zaha, Benteke, Townsend, or now, especially now with such a fluid front 3, with Batshuayi in there as well. Like, it doesn't make sense that we're still going for kind of way more defensive midfielders and not just playing the kind of still not really been able to play the possession and break down teams. But also, it just seems constantly like Zaha is trying to take on too much by himself. Those of you that have watched Match of the Day, and, you know, for those of you who subscribe to us on Patreon, ding, will hear when I do my weekly run through of all of the games, will know that it was highlighted that Zaha at times was drawing 3 players onto himself, as he's done so many times this season, but then not playing the quick pass off to the overlapping player or just distributing the ball or making a decision. He then at that point holds it up, does a few more tricks, does a bit too much because he wants to take things on himself, especially as he is, he's so strongly Palace that he hates Brighton as much as any of the fans do, and so wants to prove it rather than taking the more, how should we say, adult or grown, developed player route of knowing that the rest of the team and what the final result is really what matters. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did move Hodgson on. I think we're in a better position now, a much, much healthier position than when we lost Pardew. So to bring in someone who is different or, to try a slightly different style of play would be good. I wouldn't be too surprised if maybe, I've said before, like someone like David Wagner, because it does seem strange that he's been out of a job. I think he's had a rough time with Huddersfield, and people are finally understanding now that it is just that Huddersfield are absolute pony.
That'd be interesting, that, because, I mean, like you say, he did not have the tools at Huddersfield to do anything. And, I mean, he's from the Klopp school of fast-paced pressing football. I mean, that'd be interesting at Palace. That would be
exactly it. And it's always, we've spoken before about the DNA of a club, and that's always been Palace. They've always played with fast wingers and stuff like that, from the days of Wright and Bright to when, we had Andy Johnson, Chris Armstrong in the mid-90s.
Andy Johnson, yeah.
Everyone, Andy Johnson I think he was pretty much got the golden boot, or was like one goal off in the season where Palace got relegated in 2004.
He was nailed in my fantasy team that season, I remember.
Yeah, he was wicked. That's what then got him a move to Everton, an England call up, and then unfortunately injuries messed him. But that's just always the style of play we've been, and it has been for as long as my dad remembers, since he's been coming to games since, I don't know, 1967, 68.
Yeah.
And the whole time I've been going. So to just kind of harness that again and realise that that's where we're going, I think would be quite good. And, Roy Hodgson breaks the record every week of being the oldest manager in the Premier League. and I think as fantastic he's been, it's kind of the mutual consent at the end of the season, not a kind of firing, but just kind of acknowledging that he's not the person that can take the club any further than it is. I think if we don't sort something out, I think through instability we've lost a lot of the best years of, say, Wilfried Zaha or a lot of other players, and I wouldn't want that to then filter onto someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who,
don't worry, he won't be there for long enough to matter.
No, but even that, it's either that for him now, and as I've said before, like, it would be great, and the same as I've said with you with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, like, I'm sure you just much prefer to see him playing every week. I didn't feel that bad when Palace lost him, but it was just Chelsea need to bloody play this guy, and you just need to see these people shine.
Yeah.
And so that's where the criticism comes from, that someone like Zaha should have left, because we're not keeping up with the players that we have or allowing that to build the momentum and carry on. So, I don't know, it's still bloody shit to lose against Brighton again, and I've got mates that support Brighton who have been ribbing me for a good few days, but such is life.
All right, well, now that we did a half hour to just pick on Chuck for a bit, let's briefly touch on some other stuff that happened. Notably, I think both Liverpool and City turned it on quite aggressively this past weekend. Manchester City 3, Watford 1, 3.8 to 0.4 on the XG, so that's like, if anything, a paddling, as Michael Cayley would say, right? Watford scored 1 on less than 0.5, City scored 3 on 3.8, so they could have scored more easily. And then Liverpool generated 4.1 on XG, scored 4. Burnley 0.5, scored 2, doing a fucking Burnley and scoring 2 on 0.5. Yeah. But still not enough to take down Liverpool. The title race is heating up, gentlemen.
Yeah, it was we didn't really get to talk about when Liverpool blew their lead last year.
That's right, because we didn't record last week. Yeah.
No, so with them drawing 0-0 with Everton, and in the game where Klopp blamed the wind amongst a billion other things, because of course it only affected Liverpool in that game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Liverpool go back to being that chasing team again. So wanting to finally unleash themselves and play much more free flowing and attacking. we should start to see a lot more goals. I mean, in the Man City game, Watford can definitely feel hard done by for the first goal because was a pretty major offside, which was strange. Which was strange because they spent about 3 minutes discussing whether it was offside or not.
I don't know how that discussion went and then resulted in it's a goal.
Yeah, the commentators were saying that they must have said that it's because the defender touched it, that they counted it as a clearance. But the ball was played as a pass, and he was moving towards it. So even if he got cleared, like that's interfering with the play, which is what the rule is. When
the original pass was made to Aguero, they were both onside.
Yep.
Yeah,
everybody was onside.
Was fine.
But then Aguero, it looked to me like Aguero flicks it on.
Yeah, he does.
Which then makes that the pass. And so it's whether they're discussing whether that was actually a pass, I guess, or maybe just a deflection.
Even if it wasn't, it doesn't matter. Because, like you say, he's interfering with play, so it almost doesn't matter.
10 minutes before that. 10 fucking minutes before. Or actually, it was literally 11 minutes, I should say. So I don't want to be hyperbolic here. I tweeted, God, this fucking weekend shows more than most other weekends why we need VAR so desperately. And then that shit happened. This was even before the Raheem Sterling call. You touched on this before. Like, what a ridiculously bad weekend for referees. And I genuinely don't understand the thinking of people who are still against VAR. And there's a bunch of them on Twitter and in the media.
You need to stop hanging out on Twitter, man.
I know. I really need to just mute everyone that isn't you two. Because even if it only catches, and then block the two of you, not just mute.
There it is.
I almost got a spit take out of Ian.
Mike ruined.
No, even if it only catches 50% of calls, yeah, sure, VAR's not perfect, but there's so many fucking blown calls.
That is going to be the criticism. Anything that doesn't go exactly right, it's going to be criticised. But you're right, as long as it improves things, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
But everyone knows it's going to go the other way. It's going to go the other way. That the second there's anything that delays the game even slightly, will be like, well, this is why we shouldn't have VAR. That will become the new hot
thing, as opposed to the 3 minutes of conversation that they had in this match anyway, when they could have been a 30-second VAR review. It's not... I don't fucking understand people who are against it. Genuinely, I try as much as I can to understand where people are coming from.
Robot refs. Robot refs. Like Robot Wars. And it just comes in and views it. Or the refs have, Google Glass. And they can just have picture-in-picture in their glasses and can just, press a button and see the different angles and just... Pew.
Whatever, Mike Dean will just be Googling himself.
Yeah, he'll just be watching porn, won't he?
Or watching... Yep.
There'll be a corner and Mike will hold it while he just rubs one out.
I know, we think Mike Dean puts on a show as it is.
Yeah, you wait till he gets Google Glass.
He'll get proper into it. But, to bring it back to the title race conversation, to what extent do we think that Liverpool's ability to seem to be playing without hesitation and free-flowing and scoring again is a product of the fact that they're back in second place? And so that sort of pressure is off. We've talked a lot about how the thing that is most likely to defeat Liverpool is their mentality, their weak mentality, and their inability to handle pressure and going Spursy and bottle job and, a lot of words get thrown around. Now that they're in second, all of a sudden they can handle...
I'm sorry, but can we just touch on this? That going Spursy this season has gone full fucking Spursy. They blew a 13-point lead on Arsenal.
Yep.
Carry on. Sorry. I don't even hate Spurs. I just think that's fucking hilarious.
Oh, I think it's hilarious, and I hate Spurs, so that's great. I hate everybody except Man City at the top. And that's only because I feel a kinship with Man City because they're also an oil team, and so everyone wants to hate them disproportionately because they're like, oh, they buy titles. It's like, motherfucker, Liverpool and Man United spend more money than anybody. Just because they won titles in the 80s and the 50s doesn't mean that they're not buying their fucking titles just like everybody else. Anyway, sorry, side note. So what do you guys think? What do you make of the Liverpool thing? Is it because they're in second that they're playing better, or are we just reading into stuff too much because we want to apply a narrative here? What?
I definitely think it's just applying narrative. I think it's just let's just enjoy it for as long as it can go on. We've said this enough times. It's just there's 9 games left and there's still 1 point in it. I don't know. The last time I can remember off the top of my head this happening was the Aguero season, the first season that Man City won the league.
Yeah, it's been sewn up at least a week early many years in advance now.
It's hands down it's got to be, I don't care if you're Man City or not, it is the greatest single moment. That the end of that game is just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. No one can talk about the Manchester United in 99. Nah, it's that.
Yeah. I mean, from a Chelsea perspective, that 2012 final in Munich, we got scored on at 84, and then at 92, Drogba hits the corner, gives up a everybody that knows me, I've talked about this a million times. So, like, that matches it for me on a personal level, but, like, the Aguero thing, the comeback, the table points, like
the Balotelli assist. Like,
the Balotelli assist, yeah.
Should be known as the Balotelli assist season.
I think that's the single greatest sporting, or at least outside of, like, American sports, thing that I've ever seen.
Correct.
For some reason, American sports seems to lend itself to dramatic moments more so, because, like, we don't have ties, so there's a lot of overtime, there's a lot of, like, you win the game with the last touch. Like, that just happens. It's built into the sport.
Seems to be built, exactly. I was just about to say, it seems to be built in, doesn't it?
It lends itself to dramatic moments significantly more.
Yeah, they can't handle it. I've heard American commentary where they've said, like, it's been on, like, English games or whatever, and said, like, Arsenal lose 1-1. Like, no, that's not how it works. You don't lose 1-1. You just
that did take me a while as a foreign sort of fan to get used to the idea of, like, what do you mean they just tie? Come back and play until someone wins.
Do they not just do who can sing the national anthem the best? Or is that not one?
But yeah, certainly from, like, World Cups, Premier League, Champions League, like one time, I think it was like 2007. Before it was called the Europa League, it was called, like, the UEFA Cup. Yep. Right? There was a team I was watching in my room, like, it was a late night replay of it, because it wasn't even live when it was on, because it was the UEFA Cup. But some team pulled their goalie in the, like, 96th minute to tie it, and the goalie was the one that scored to send it to extra time, and then they won in extra time. And I was like, this is the most dramatic thing ever. But, like, no one remembers that because it's the UEFA Cup, so, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what team it was. But I'm with you. Yeah, I think that Aguero thing is the single most exciting thing. And it's nice that, like, potentially that's in play. There's only a point between them. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody else is fucked and way behind. But currently 538 has Man City at 2-1 favorites. I don't know what the betting odds have, Chuck. I'm sure you can pull that up. But City are 67% favorites to Liverpool's 33% chance of winning the title, according to 538. They take into account the difficulty of the remaining fixtures.
I mean, that's not very much in a 2-horse race, is it? I mean...
No, not at all. It's not quite a coin toss, but it's not a huge difference.
No, that's not massive at all.
It sounds worse than it is saying 2-1, but, like, going in with however many games left to play at 33% chance is a pretty high chance for Liverpool. Like,
yeah, so at the minute you've got Man City a 4-11 on. So if you put £11 on, you get 15 back, including stake. Liverpool 9-4 on.
I'd put money on that. Yeah. There's a decent chance they're going to win this title.
Yeah, I'd say there's more than a 1 in 3 chance they could do it with only being 1 point behind. So I think, like, percentage odds wise, like, it could. On a personal level, no, I don't think Liverpool would win. But but third favourites, Tottenham 1,000 to 1, Arsenal, Chelsea 1,500 to 1, and Man United 2,000 to 1.
Did you say Tottenham are 1,000 to 1 now?
1,000 to 1.
Fuck me.
When only a few weeks ago.
About 4 weeks ago, I put a few quid on them at, like, 25 to 1, thinking that's silly odds, that. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Evidently.
I'm not going to be able to lay that bet, am I?
Evidently, professionals who run gambling companies know more than we do.
Oh, who knew? Who knew?
But yeah, 1,000 to 1 seems generous. Although I guess if you're going off the less than 1%, that is, depending on if it's like 0.2%, that'd be 500 to 1 odds. So it might be a decent bet in terms of the expected probabilities.
Well, I'm not putting any more on it.
I'm not putting any money on that. No, thank you.
Yeah, but if you pull up Liverpool's remaining fixtures, they do have a trip to Spurs at Wembley, probably. And they are still coming to Stamford Bridge, too, on April 14th. So those are 2 nominally hard fixtures, depending. Who knows what version of Chelsea and what version of Spurs you can get. But that's a much easier set of fixtures than, for example, Man City, whose only difficult remaining fixture is Spurs, really. I mean, I guess they go away to United, but that's an away trip, and they are better than Liverpool slightly anyway.
Can they keep rinsing Aguero like they are? I mean, that seems the only... Well, I don't know. He's playing every single match at the
Mate,
minute.
the guy's getting better.
I know, but
yeah.
You're right. He does keep just getting better. But I mean, have they won tonight?
Oh, that's right. The Champions League is on.
Oh no, I forgot that. Oh, it's live.
Yeah, last I saw, it's 4-0.
4-0.
And Aguero scored a couple, I think. So I mean, yeah. It belies my point. I was about to say, can he keep rinsing Aguero like he is? But I mean, fuck, maybe he can.
Yeah, Man City just won the 7-0.
Oh,
that's
fuck.
Right.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
No.
And that's the thing. You can play every game when you score 3 goals and then get subbed off in like the 50th minute.
Right.
Which is just what he keeps doing.
Yeah, that's
and he's
true.
fine.
All right, well, that'll do it for part 1. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about how Mauricio Sarri is a dumbass. No, sorry. Take listener questions.
That was like last week or the week before.
Yeah, I'm still stuck in the last few weeks.
Can I just sandwich in quickly, because I don't want to let you go away from the break, that Man City at home this season have got 45 points out of a possible 48. Just do a Google on who the last 3 were for. The last 3 were for against. Just saying.
Hashtag just saying.
Part 2, go.
There we go. All right, well, we'll come back in a bit, and we'll see you guys for part 2 for some listener questions and other stuff.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to episode 36 of the Miles Offside podcast. Wait, just say that so that it reminds Ian when he names the episode.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we've ventured a little bit into my depression at supporting my team this week, which has given Oscar a bit of joy.
Yay.
And now we go on to the part of the show where you guys get involved, be that on through Twitter, Facebook, sending us an email, or all those kind of jazz in it. We've also recently set up a Patreon page, so thank you very, very much for all of those of you who've got in touch and also passed on your praise, especially for Oscar, for the extra Patreon content. And we have a new Patreon. Ian, who dat? Who dat?
New Patreon.
Patreon.
Sam Danby. He's coming. New Patreon.
Sam Danby.
Yeah, he's come in at Stats Robot level, so he gets all the extra stuff. So last week we didn't do a regular podcast. There were circumstances that meant we couldn't, weather circumstances specifically. How have you been dealing with Storm Gareth, Chuck? Storm Gareth causing you problems?
I have almost been blown over.
Yeah?
At least almost one time.
Tough times.
And it would be the first time this year that you've been blown by a Gareth, or?
By a Gareth.
We didn't even pre-write that. Well done.
By a Gareth, yes. Yeah.
You don't ask their names, do you, Chuck?
Anyway, thanks, Sam Danby. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
But as I would say, we put out, instead of our regular episode, we put out the 3 things we always put out. We put out the 3 things.
3 things?
Usually
yeah.
just
the 3, right?
The 3 things that we usually save just for our Patreons, we put them out on the regular feed to give you a little taste. So, this is seriously going off the rails.
Yeah, you'll be coming back more times than Maradona. You love it.
Yeah. But if you want to become a Patreon, go to patreon.com/milesoffsidepod and you can get that stuff every week. I do FPL stuff, Oscar does nerdy stuff, and Chuck does a sort of fixture rundown of the previous week.
Yeah.
And if he ever gets angry, sometimes he just rails against the world.
Yeah, mostly I haven't been that angry recently, so I thought I'd give you guys some valuable content.
Yeah, we had a sort of match of the day style rundown. It was quick bite size. It was good.
Yeah, I led the section by saying it would be 30 seconds on each game. 10 games, that should be 5 minutes. I took 12, so,
It's fine. Sort of
stayed on brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Ian, do we have any listener questions this week?
We do. So let's go with Adam P, who says...
hold on. If the listeners want to get in touch, how might they reach us? Email.com/milesoffsidepod?
No, and if you listened back, I said gmail.com.
He did.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, I was very
sorry.
tired. I still can't remember how emails work.
It was still a confusing situation for all involved, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so we're Miles Offside Pod on Twitter, Miles Offside on Facebook, and milesoffsidepod@gmail.com if you want to send us an email. So there you go. Adam P got in touch and said, which manager would you choose to organise a team building day out? And what players would you want to take with you?
A team building day out.
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp does seem like he'd be a bit of fun.
Oh, he'd be a laugh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it'd be a laugh.
Yeah, I suppose that. Yeah, but didn't he did that? Didn't he take like all of the Liverpool players to Alcatraz?
Did he?
Have you not seen that video?
Are you not thinking of Brendan Rodgers?
No. This was the tour of America that Liverpool did before basically Mamadou Sakho got pushed out the door because he just kept turning up to everything late. And he spent the whole time on the Alcatraz trip making his own video. And whilst Klopp is doing like a serious interview, just keeps appearing in the background, like pulling faces and stuff. Like, find it. It's so funny.
Well, that'll be the preview with no context this week.
Yeah. And then at one point in the interview, he's just like, he gets asked if he would like to lock someone up. And he's like, I would like to lock Mama up, because then that way I would know where he was so I could get him to training on time or something like along those lines.
Well, there you go. Jurgen Klopp, I think, is my answer.
I didn't think Jurgen Klopp and going to Alcatraz would be the answer to that, I'll be honest.
No.
There you go. Cool. He's also asked, what's the worst individual performance you can remember?
Worst individual performance?
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard coming on, getting a red card 30 seconds later, and like...
Oh, yeah, that's a shocker, yeah.
Wasn't that like his last game at Anfield too or something? Like it was in his last season.
Yeah, that was... Gerrard's last game at Anfield was against Palace, and we done a win. Of course we did. Right.
I do remember the brilliant heat maps from that sending off, though, when it was just basically a line back to the tunnel.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. I don't know, maybe Jordan Pickford this week against Newcastle. That was pretty crap, especially after giving it the big one to all the Newcastle fans.
Yeah, he lost his head a bit, didn't he?
Rugby tackling Rondon.
That was ridiculous.
Oh,
absolutely ridiculous.
Celebrating to the Newcastle fans because he's from Sunderland, sticking his tongue out, and then losing 3-2. So that was really
not a good look, is it?
No, not at all.
There's Jonathan Woodgate's debut for Real Madrid.
Oh, tell us about that. I don't know that.
Do you not know about that?
No,
so he'd been injured, and I think Real Madrid bought him anyway. I think I might be wrong on that, but so he'd been waiting for his debut for a while, and then he comes on, he scores an own goal, and then gets 2 yellows and gets sent off like within the hour. I think.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Absolute shocker of a debut, and they'd spent a lot of money on him, and yeah.
Yeah, where did they sign him from? Leeds? Can't remember. Maybe did he go to Newcastle?
I think it was Newcastle.
This sounds well before my time.
Yeah, it's 2005, I think.
2005. Wow. Ian, do you maybe because this is before Oscar's time as well? Do you remember Ali Dia?
No.
The guy who played for Southampton, who he got signed after when Graham Souness was manager there. They apparently got a call from someone it was George Weah, the Liberia,
president,
now Liberian president, at the time incredibly famous Liberian footballer, suggesting that they sign his cousin, who was called Ali Dia. Souness signed him, registered him, and subbed him on. And they very much realised that he didn't know how to play football.
Jesus Christ!
He's like running around like no footballing pedigree. They like forged loads of things to him, and he was meant to be a great striker.
He was trying to pick up the ball with his hands. He's dribbling it like a basketball.
Did they not like have a training session? Like,
evidently, I don't know. It's the 90s, isn't it? They were still drinking.
Fine, isn't it? Razor Ruddock used to get games.
Yeah, exactly. Razor Ruddock, who then signed for Palace and couldn't play in a game because we couldn't find a pair of shorts big enough for him. Genuinely happened.
Chuck, you have the best stories.
Yeah.
How do you remember all of this shit?
He was so overweight that there was a clause in his contract that unless he got below a certain weight, he wasn't getting paid.
Oh my
and
God.
would then only be on a pay-per-play basis.
Brilliant.
Oh, God, what the fuck?
All right, well, I don't think we're topping that. So.
Dave Mateo. I mean, this is like a serious football question. Yeah? Comes in with a stupid one later.
Okay.
Is there a point to under-23s international football? Surely by that age, anyone good enough is either in the senior setup or playing regularly for a club team, so playing B-grade games really does nothing for them. It's hard to argue with that, really.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because you think I think especially by today's standards that it's kind of very much seen if you haven't made it by 22, then that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas, it's not too long ago you look at kind of 28, 29 being the prime of people's career, and now they're kind of being written off by the time they're about 25.
What's the next age down from there?
I think it's under 19s international, or is it under 21s?
Yeah, maybe 21s, don't know.
21 seems like a better cutoff than 23 to me. If there is a U21s, then keep it there and get rid of 23.
Because under 23s isn't just international. That's like club football as well. Like it's
Right.
pretty much
is it?
all teams have under 20. Yeah, Chelsea under 23s. Didn't they play in Peterborough? Played them, didn't they? In the whatever.
I think it was under 21s in the Czech trade, I think. But it's a weird thing anyway, isn't it? Because it's become totally nonsense anyway, because players coming back from injury play in the under 21s. It's a reserves, it's a reserves. Why not just call it reserves? I don't really understand how. I think when Koscielny was coming back from injury, he was playing in the under 21s.
Yeah, you could have a certain number of players.
Oh, right,
I think
there are
you're allowed
rules, are there?
2. Yeah. I think you're allowed 2, maybe 3.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Over because that's the purpose of it. Because then it's also competitive fixtures because they are also kind of playing in the league, but it's more to kind of bring it up to speed with that. So I think for the recovering kind of injury players, that's good. But also, if you think about it, there's, if you look the whole of England or like all of the wealth of English talent there's only 11 players that can play or like 18 in the squad. So would you just want to work on that 18 or have them in some sort of competitive leagues as well if they were younger?
I think if they changed it to U21, it would make more sense to me. Because I feel like there are still a few people who haven't quite gotten there by 21.
But then it's kind of like once you hit 21, you've been written off. That's it. If you're past 21, I know 21, 23, it's only 2 years, but it seems like, well, then if you're not in the first team, that's it. You don't get nothing.
Well, then you get shipped off to a championship team or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, but this didn't Dave say it was international?
Yeah, specifically he's asking international. We've sort of started talking about club football, but yeah, he did.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm going with it. Is that
okay?
For the depth of national squads,
yeah,
it really helps to make sure there's competitive games and also to have an influence and get that succession kind of plan in place of where players are going to come from and that route up to be kind of the right mentality and have the similar kind of game plans. And I agree. I think the fact that this, we're saying this and we're not even sure means it needs a lot more clarity, I think. And that there's all these different, because you see tons of times that there's players that have played they've played in the under 15s and the under 16s, the 17s, the 19s, the 21s, the 23s, and then never played for England proper.
The Freddie Adu's of the world.
Freddie Adu. There's another one. Didn't he sell Hoovers or something?
He still plays. I don't know where he plays, but he plays. I think in MLS, actually.
Huh. Who'd have thunk it?
Dave asks a stupid one as well. You'll be happy to know, Chuck. It's not all football.
Thank God.
If you were a wrestler, what would be your name and overall motif? Enjoyable use of the word motif there.
I could go by the stats robot, right? And wear silver glitter paint. And my thing would be beep beep boop when I beat somebody. I could just, I don't know, do the robot, right? When I win, just I get some lessons from Peter Crouch. Yeah.
Yeah. Finishing move, the XG slam.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm about that. I'm into it.
I don't know. I feel bad because then naturally, if you're going for the stats robot way, I need to do something with socks.
But then that's
sadly,
mankind territory.
Mankind already took that.
Yeah, it's got that sewn up, yeah.
Damn you, Mick Foley. Just 30 years ahead of me. I'm
not sure you want to be Mick Foley.
I'd love to be Mick Foley. That man is just...
He seems like the nicest guy.
He's lovely, but I met him once on Soccer AM when he was a guest.
What?
Yeah, no,
hold the phone.
Yeah, we need to hear that story.
So you met, what you like got to speak with him and stuff?
Only for a few seconds while you're micing him up or whatever, but yeah. That's a really nice bloke and got involved, even though all the American guests on Soccer AM never knew what was going on at all, which was the best. We had Dwayne Johnson on before he was super famous. And when we had American teams on, we used to pick a team out of the hat. We used to bring this Uncle Sam hat on with all 96 teams in, and then they get the American guest to pick out a team, and that's who they supported. So The Rock supports Macclesfield. That's a thing.
Oh, that's funny.
That's perfect with Sol Campbell in charge as well. Like, he'd bloody love it.
Yeah, and then they were doing VTs the next week, like going around doing vox pops with people in Macclesfield saying, "Are you pleased that Dwayne Johnson is now your biggest supporter?"
That's literally biggest.
Fantastic.
He is an absolute unit.
But yeah, no, Mick Foley was a lovely bloke. A little bit out there, as you'd expect, but yeah, really nice.
Emily's going to be very jealous that you got to meet The Rock. She's a big fan.
Do you want to see his dick or something as well, Oscar?
No. That you're confusing him with
just Zac Efron.
Zac Efron, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Which, if you're a new listener, that's going to make zero sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's going to make a lot of sense. Ian, what would you be as a wrestler?
I think we've got to play on my themes, haven't we? So,
old.
Retro, yeah. I
Yeah.
prefer retro. So, like, have you seen Despicable Me 3?
Yes.
Not a great film.
No, I fell asleep in it in the cinema.
Yeah, not a great film. And because the villain was the best thing about it, and they barely featured him, it was that 80s pop, like...
Oh, yeah, it's the guy from South Park, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Trey Parker voiced him. He's easily the best thing in it, and they didn't feature him nearly enough. But I'd basically be him. So I'd have to wear a wig or whatever, but I'd have a mullet, so I'd have some hair. Lovely.
Yeah.
Come in with like a guitar or something.
Yeah. Bring back the fun wrestling. Bring back the stupid, ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, have like a finishing move called like the synthesizer or something, and
Yeah.
something like that. I was just 80s pop. I reckon that's what I'd do.
I reckon you could make a good tag team out of that if you have like some nice digital sounding, the synthesizer and the stats robot.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, there you go. And he's playing it as you're going along. Yeah, make it happen.
Do either of you watch wrestling? Are you like into wrestling?
Nah.
I was when I was a teenager, yeah.
Yeah, I was into it in the 90s when I was like 10 or whatever.
Yeah, so what was yours? Like, name some wrestlers from your era.
The Rock, Triple H, Stone Cold, all those guys.
Yeah.
That whole era. Triple H was my guy.
It's the Attitude Era, isn't it? It's the best part of...
The Attitude Era, yeah, that's the name.
See, I was sort of dropping out of it by then, but yeah.
Oh, that was the best. All the D-Generation X stuff with Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
So are you talking about like Macho Man Randy Savage, Ian?
Yeah, I was fully in then, like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man.
Damn, you really are old.
Yeah, Yokozuna.
Yokozuna, dang.
Fucking brilliant. Yeah, that's my era, sort of like mid to late 90s.
Giant Haystacks, Big Daddy. not English. You're not that old, I suppose. Yeah, no.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Those. Yeah, definitely did watch some of that. Yep.
Sunday night, Channel 4, wasn't it? Sunday, Channel 4?
What was it, World of Wrestling or
World
something?
of Wrestling, the English one. It's always Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks.
Yeah. Then you watched the WWF, and you were like, fucking hell.
Wow, the production stepped up.
Yeah, this has gone up a notch.
It's just a shame that you're desperately clawing onto your youth by hanging out with us, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Way to sum me up in a sentence.
He's just salty that Brighton did the double, man. Don't listen to him.
Yeah, fuck off.
I'm wounded here. Wounded.
Visibly deflated at that comment.
Yeah, I'm like properly gone down. Jeez. Oh. Anyway, it's fine. I'll just put a mullet wig on and strut around with a guitar and cheer myself
Learn
up.
the guitar, please. That is, and then do the what's the segment called that we can never get right? Rapid News. That's the one. You can do that live on a guitar. Woo! And
The 80s are back in a big way, baby. Look at Weezer just put out that album of all 80s covers. Everybody's obsessed with the 80s.
Weezer's still around?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's called the Teal album. It's all 80s covers. It's good.
I am not down with the kids.
Neither are Weezer, don't worry.
I was going to say, yeah. Oscar, you replied to our own call out for questions.
Oh, I've been trolling some questions every week.
Yeah, you were. And you said, would you rather never be able to go on the internet again or never be able to watch a movie again?
I forgot I asked that. I just throw in like a ridiculous question every week. Oh, that is tough.
Never be able to go on the internet again, like... When you say never, so anything involving the internet in any way no longer exists or exists for everyone else apart from you?
No, it exists for everyone else apart from you. Movies also continue to exist apart from you.
But you can still watch TV shows?
You can watch TV shows, but no movies. Either movies you've seen before or new movies. Like, you're never allowed to watch anything that is a movie ever again.
It would end up being movies because what you and me and Ian have had this conversation with a few times when you said, "Oh, have you been to the cinema to see this movie?" It's like, no, kids can't really sit in a film with like a baby and watch. And so now it's been so long since I've been to the cinema, like it's But like internet is so much more of society, etc.
But you still watch movies at home, right? Like,
I've got to go with the internet though. I mean, I wouldn't want to hit Pornhub's traffic too hard.
Oh, wait, does that count? Wait, hold on. Would that count as a movie?
Not the way I'll watch it.
Hey, a clip of a movie is still part of a movie, or let's not pull at that thread. Let's not send him too far down.
I'm the only one here who's taking movies? I'd give up. I can't not know what happens in Star Wars or MCU.
I don't know, but I can just go on the internet and every fifth person will fucking tell me, so it doesn't matter.
You can read the synopsis on Wikipedia, that's the same.
No, but I need to see it.
Yeah, or just everyone will be shouting about it.
My life would be so much happier if I didn't have to use the internet.
Yeah, but I can just listen to your podcast, and then it's fine, then I get all I need.
Yeah.
And all you need to do for that is just pay $5 a month.
Yeah, this week's Nerdy Newsstand, you brought in Emily and reviewed Captain Marvel.
Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, Dr. Emily. Sorry.
Dr. Emily.
Sorry,
thank
Chuck,
you very much.
Quite right.
We should do a shout out about that. That Oscar's lovely wife, Emily, just received her doctorate. But a few days ago.
Yesterday, actually.
Which makes her better than all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's much smarter than me.
And if you want to hear her be smarter than Oscar, you got to pay $5.
Yeah, exactly. Or wait till the next week we forget to record or can't record.
Yeah, we'll chuck the Patreon ones out again. Yeah.
Patreon stuff. Exclusive and or early access to bonus content.
Yeah. So you'd really give up the internet?
I wish I could give up the internet anyway. It's a fucking toxic, terrible thing that exists.
Yeah, there is that.
Are you kidding? Now I get a magical choice where I can be like, oh, sorry, the genie told me I can't use the internet anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, easy way out. Yeah.
As much as I would miss this lovely tradition of recording every Tuesday afternoon with you guys, like, the fucking internet is just a dumpster fire that just serves to only make everything awful.
But guys, please send us your questions on Twitter, Facebook.
Contribute to that dumpster fire.
Email. And join the dumpster fire. Add fuel to the fire.
Yeah, email.com/milesoffside.
To be fair, probably I could get rid of the internet. I wouldn't know what the difference was. Yeah. Can't even do an email address.
I just love movies too much. I don't like genuinely the thought of never being able to watch Star Wars or MC or Marvel or Lord of the Rings or anything again. Like that's just like, ugh, nah, man. I love the movie so much.
Okay, Mike McGibney asks, if you could punch any player, who would you punch? Brackets too soon.
Is it the weird... I've never liked Jack Grealish until this.
You would have said Jack Grealish, but actually the way he dealt with it...
Yeah, no. Well, no, he probably would have been top of the list, but I never liked him, mostly because he just looked like a funfair ride attendant. But...
a carny, Oscar.
There you go. I was like, what?
I don't know. What, current, all-time,
well,
anyone?
How have you not, reflex said Jesse Lingard?
Yeah, I'm surprised that it took you
well,
that
because
long.
there's many categories and you have to weigh these things up.
Okay, I didn't realise you had a spreadsheet, sorry.
Yeah, no. Oscar, I paid $30 a month and Oscar...
Yeah, exactly. I could do that.
...made me a punch index.
Who's got the highest PI?
Yeah.
I'm going to come back next week and be like,
punches.
Gentlemen, I solved it. I did an equation. The answer is Wayne Rooney.
Who knew?
It's going to be someone from the 08 Man United team because, probably Ronaldo. I think I'm taking Cristiano Ronaldo. First of all, he has that face.
Mm.
Yeah, he's got a punchable face.
And do it just as he does that celebration where he sort of plants his feet.
Opens himself up.
Yeah.
Mate, can't defend himself.
Done.
Right
Bam.
Does it have to be in the face, or can I punch him in the dick? How's the question phrased?
Why are you obsessed with dicks?
Well, that's a painful place to punch someone, specifically.
I mean, dealer's choice.
Well, what was the question? How was it phrased? I want to respect the spirit of the question.
If you could punch any player, who would you punch? I mean, for some reason, you bring your dicks into it.
First of all, for like everything that he did at Manchester United to all Chelsea fans. Second of all, because of the face that he has, he deserves a punch. And also,
other things
related to his dick that are in dire need of punching, among other, well, just leave it there.
Ronaldo in the dick.
Let's not get libelous again.
Yep.
I'm going Diego Costa, Jesse Lingard, James Ward-Prowse. That's who I'm punching.
You only get one.
What, are they lined up and you're just going through them with one punch?
They're going through them like a steam train.
Why Ward-Prowse?
Ward-Prowse, yeah.
Yeah, what's that about?
Point. Yeah, why?
Fucking prick. He got Zaha sent off, didn't he? He got Zaha sent off after he pushed Zaha off the pitch, then simulated throwing the ball in his face,
Chuck,
then
do you
grabbed
have
him.
like a massive chalkboard up in your bedroom where when a player does something like vaguely at all horrible to a Palace player, they go up on the board for punching?
Yeah, and he has like the reasons listed down. He has the dates memorized, everything.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the film Billy Madison?
Oh, I've seen the film Billy Madison.
So when he calls like
list.
Steve Buscemi and he apologises and goes over to the corner. Yes, I have that list. That was my inspiration to make the shit list.
Okay.
What about you, Ian?
I don't know, I haven't thought one for this.
I mean, from soccer, I'm picking someone from the... I'll give you a chance to think more, Ian, because there's another player I hate even more than that I desperately want to punch so bad. And that is, for any basketball fans and New York Knicks fans of the 90s, Reggie fucking Miller. I would fucking destroy that man. I hate him so much. It's been 20 years since he played against the New York Knicks, and I cannot handle seeing his face. He does interviews sometimes. He's on fucking TV, and he makes my blood boil to this very day. I fucking hate him so much. So Reggie Miller, watch your back.
What's the story there?
He was on their rival, the Indiana Pacers. They used to get in fights a lot. They used to I don't know if you've ever seen a documentary about how they hated each other so much. He used to do like choking symbol at Knicks fans in the audience.
Oh, right.
And be like threatened to choke them basically. One time we were up by 7 points with like 30 seconds left, and he hit a 3-pointer, stole the ball, hit a 3-pointer, stole the ball, hit another 3-pointer, and they won in the playoffs. Just terrible stuff. So I hate him more than any other athlete in any other sport and anything. He's there.
Fair enough. Chuck, let's talk Predictor League.
Predictor League.
You better have some good news for me.
I'm doing some sort of 80s wrestler entrance to Predictor League.
Okay.
Pow, 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 Predictor League.
I don't know if you've ever heard an 80s song before.
No, but he did own a Casio keyboard.
Casio DG20 electric guitar.
Boom. Oh, hello.
Set to electric mandolin. There's a 4-way tie at the top.
Fuck off.
I will not. I will not, sir.
You will,
but
sir.
Technically, Ian, that means you're second. Because...
Okay. Am I second? Surely I entered before someone else.
Yeah, how is that possible?
No, because if you're joint first, then the next place becomes second, but that's not how it works, so technically you're both second and fifth. Ian and JD are tied in fifth, second, however you want to call it, on 44 points. Right. But in 1, 2, 3, 4, or all one, is Adam P, John OG, Pad Full, and Raphael Briand.
Fuck me, it's hotting up.
Very tight. So, very much like the actual Premier League race, there is only one game in it, 1 point effectively, between the top 6 right now. So, it's getting very interesting. And at the bottom, pulling away kind of, but in the wrong direction, Oscar is on 70 points, 21st place, just above Finley. The race for the bottom, also like the Premier League, is heating up. Except it's not. And then there's a 5-way tie on 60 points above that. So, everything's literally tied. What I feared would happen with this game is happening, and everyone's going to get the same vanilla score.
We might need to repurpose this game a different way next year.
Maybe, but it's the first season, guys. This is how we work things out.
Yeah, no, it worked. It worked perfectly well for the few number of entrants we had. But if we have more next season, if you've got any suggestions for games next season, bring it in.
Yeah, and preferably one where I can do as little admin as possible, because I'm barely able to keep up with this one, and all I have to do is type in the league table.
Not just have the positions in the table, but also like the points, because then that's much less convergence on just the same answer for everybody.
I don't know, Dave, you're like stats or something. Dave, work something out. Worth noting as well, in the team draft game that no one cares about, Oscar's also losing in that.
Oh, you son of a bitch. That's the only reason you brought this up.
Oscar's on 171. Chuck's on 174. Ian's on 232.
Yeah.
Chuck, who put you over the top? You have a terrible, terrible lineup.
Well, Liverpool, who win every week, and you have Chelsea, West Ham, and Fulham. And West Ham keep losing to shit teams. Fulham are Fulham, and Chelsea,
Yeah.
And while I have Palace, Southampton have started winning games, and so have Leicester.
Yeah, that's not bad, man. Fulham really just fucking destroys me.
And Ian's got Man City and Arsenal who are doing good, but he's also got Tottenham and Everton, so, he's still just going to thrash us no matter what.
He's just going to win by a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
3 of the top 6 are all on Ian, so.
Yeah. And there we go. That gives us for this week. Shall we have a look at fixtures for next week?
What fixtures?
There's only a few.
There's not many's, but we do have the magic of the FA Cup.
Oh, the magic of the cup.
Why don't we start with the Premier League? Which, by the way, for a reminder for our American listeners, don't do what I did and forget that the clock's changed here, but not in England. Because I was here an hour early to record the podcast, wondering where the hell you two were.
Yeah. Why should time be uniform for all people?
You guys don't change till the end of the month. So, American listeners, we have a couple of weekends where we are...
I think this is the year where some countries are choosing not to change the clocks.
We've talked about it, but it's not like...
I think France aren't. I want to say France.
That's going to fuck everything up so much for Champions League and knowing when the hell anything is.
Yeah, well. Especially for you, because you got rid of the internet, mate. Me and Ian, we've got the internet, so we're fine.
That's true.
That was binding.
That does mean, though, that we get to sleep in a bit. So this weekend's fixtures are not the 10 o'clock round of games, but the 11 o'clock round of games, which is much nicer. We have Bournemouth playing Newcastle, Burnley playing Leicester, and West Ham playing Huddersfield. The less said about those 3 matches.
I was going to say you get a lie in, so it's much better, but you're not going to want those games anyway. So you can just lie in all of Saturday.
Anything to mention there for any of those? Or?
No.
Bournemouth Newcastle might be a bit of a goal fest. Who knows?
Oh yeah, that's true, because Newcastle have picked up form a bit of late.
Yeah, Bournemouth are up and down. I mean, that could be worth a watch, but.
And Burnley are right on the cusp of the relegation battle, so they actually do have something to play for. They might continue to Burnley the way they Burnley sometimes. And
they just burn on.
Keep Burnley.
Yeah. And then Sunday at, hold on, trying to do some mental math very quickly, 10:15, not the usual 9:15. We have Fulham-Liverpool. Liverpool just gonna...
That's gonna be a dickin'.
That's going to be bad. Yep. And Chelsea travel to Everton at 12:30 for your eyeballs. I hate going to Everton. Chelsea are going to lose. So they're gonna. We don't travel well to Goodison at all.
No.
Even in good seasons. So.
But yeah, so as you can tell from that, there's also a bit of what is called in the FPL world a blank game week. So I'm sure Ian's bonus Patreon pod this week will focus a lot on that.
Yep, I'll put that out on Friday probably, just before, so you can get your teams ready. Not that you want to hear from me, Jesus Christ. Yet another shocker. I mean, I didn't have Sterling, so there you go.
Yeah, I got rid of him this week, so that's fine.
That's painful.
Let's not go into that. But around those fixtures, we also have the FA Cup. So crossing Saturday, 3 games on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. So we got Watford Palace, the early kickoff on Saturday at 12:15, 8:15 for Oscar. You've then got Swansea versus Man City at 5:20 here.
R.I.P. Swansea.
Yeah, bye, Swansea. Bye. Wolves Man United, which is probably the most. Well, I suppose the Watford Palace game is quite close, but the Wolves Man United one is very interesting. Since United finally lost under Ole, and Wolves have got a pretty good record against top 6 teams in the Premier League, so we'll see if that stretches into the FA Cup. And then on Sunday, the Scum Derby, Millwall versus Brighton, the absolute dregs of society derby.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Yeah, I'm saying it.
Oscar, the usually even-handed one, is going, yeah.
Yeah, we're not alienating the North this week. This week, we turn our attention south.
Oh, are those south?
Oh, yeah,
Millwall's London,
Millwall's
and
South
Brighton,
London.
South Coast.
Yeah, Brighton, South Coast, yeah.
All right, well, there you go.
There you go. So,
Literally, fuck everyone.
Yeah, fuck all of y'all.
All directions. So there we go.
We gotta start insulting more Americans, because we have a lot of American listeners. I mean, they get off easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't slag off Virginia. We have a lot of listeners in Virginia for some reason.
Virginia's a lovely place. I would never have anything bad to say.
Who's Virginia, and how's she got so many listeners in her?
Hey-o. Spare a moment from Man United. We didn't really touch on this in the first half, but they actually had their best underlying performance under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And they managed to not score. They'd been way overperforming their XG. Like they were, doing well, but not as well as the results were showing. And then they finally had an actually really good performance, and Lukaku was the one getting on the end of those chances, and it looked like he had no idea how to hit the ball to the net.
Which is weird because he's been in such good form recently. He scored three games in a row. He scored 2 goals.
Really, really bad finishing on the day. They had 2.5 XG to Arsenal's. I don't have it in front of me, but it was really low. They thoroughly outplayed Arsenal and just got.
I don't know. No one fact checks us. Just say 0.3.
Sure, not 0.3.
Fine, whatever.
There you go. Anyway, so that's the fixtures for this weekend, guys.
Chuck, will Palace get through?
Will Palace? It's tough, man. That is fuck off. He's such a dick. He got further than Chelsea.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah, facts. I think it's a really tough game. I don't know. I'd be excited to watch that one actually. I think I'm in.
No, no. You're not getting out of this. Make a prediction. Are they going through or not? Does he go for the reverse jinx? Does he go for?
And that's the fixtures for this weekend, guys. So thank you very much. No, it'll go to a replay. The quarterfinals go to a replay.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so, right? Because they said that the last round that there'd be no more replays.
Oh yeah, isn't it? They've changed it for this year because it's and then none of them went to the
and none of them went. But this, they might.
Yeah.
You're not getting out of it with a replay, Chuck.
Nah, I think Watford recently have just been too strong. We've got a few too many injuries, so
the reverse
probably be 2-0 Watford. You're such a dick. You had every eventuality planned for that.
That's what he's gone for.
You're such an arse. But yeah, I think it's Watford 2-0. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Draw and then Palace on penalties.
Yeah, I'm about that. I really hope it goes to penalties just because Chuck hates them. You have claimed that you refuse to watch penalties, so I'm really hoping it does go to penalties.
I'll be at work, so it won't matter. Fuck it. So there you go, guys. That's the fixtures for this week. Got a few things coming up for you. Thanks for your continued support. Just leaves to say bye from us. So bye, Ian.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Oscar.
Adios.
Adios. Oh, international. And I don't know, what's goodbye in German or something?
Auf Wiedersehen.
There you go, that as well. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.